It was late evening, the sky heavy with clouds, and the sound of rain filled the almost empty grocery store parking lot. Streetlights flickered weakly, reflecting off the wet ground like small broken stars. A young single mother named Maya pushed a cart slowly, holding her little son Eli's hand tightly. She was tired, her shoes soaked, her coat old, but her eyes gentle. Eli, only 6, hugged his small school bag, trying to match her pace. Inside the store minutes ago, Maya had counted every coin carefully on the counter. Some people behind her sighed loudly. Others rolled their eyes, waiting impatiently. But Maya stayed calm, whispering softly to her son, "Just a little more, baby. Mama is almost done." She smiled at him even though her heart felt heavy. They walked out into the cold rain, hoping to get home before the storm got worse. Maya unlocked her old, rusty car. The door creaked loudly. She placed the grocery bag inside, mostly bread, milk, and a small chocolate bar she saved for Eli. He smiled because that chocolate was his favorite treat. Maya's fingers shook from the cold as she tried to start the engine, but the car only coughed and died. She tried again, once, twice, it didn't start. Eli's smile faded. Maya leaned forward on the steering wheel and closed her eyes for a moment. She was exhausted. Just then, bright red and blue lights flashed behind them. 2 police officers stepped out of their vehicle. They walked slowly toward the car, looking at Maya with sharp, judgmental eyes. One officer, tall, muscular, smirking, tapped on the window. Maya rolled it down politely. Her voice was soft. "Good evening, officers. Is something wrong?" The officer looked at her from head to toe, noticing her worn-out clothes and old car. This vehicle looks suspicious. Is it even yours?" he asked carelessly. Maya blinked, confused. "Yes, sir, it's mine. I just bought groceries for my son. The car won't start." The other officer stepped closer. He grabbed the car keys from her hand without asking. "We need to check it. You look like someone who might not own a car like this." People nearby watched. A man recording with his phone whispered, "Here we go again." Others stared but did nothing. Maya swallowed her pride and stepped out into the rain with Eli. The cold wind hit them instantly. Eli held her hand tightly. The first officer laughed. "Where's your husband?" "Oh wait, let me guess. You don't have one." A small smile formed among the watching crowd. Pain flashed in Maya's eyes, but she held it in. For her son. For her dignity. "Please," she said softly. "We just want to go home. My son is cold." The officer shrugged. "If you can't even keep a car running, how will you take care of a child?" Maya bit her lip, her hands shaking. She looked down, trying not to cry. Tears weren't allowed, not in front of Eli, not in front of strangers. Eli tugged her sleeve, whispering in a tiny voice. "Mom, why are they angry? Did we do something bad?" That question broke her heart. She kneeled and held him close, the rain now mixing with the tears she tried to hide. "No, baby. We did nothing wrong." But the officers didn't stop. They checked her trunk, her grocery bags, her old purse, looking for anything to blame her for. They laughed at the loose coins inside. "You live on coins. Must be hard." Maya stood there silently, shaking, humiliated. She had always worked hard, cleaning houses, doing laundry, anything to feed Eli. But tonight, she felt small, invisible. One officer pointed at Eli. "Poor kid. Growing up with a mother like her." That sentence was too much. Maya looked up slowly, something strong rising in her eyes. Not anger, courage. She pulled out her phone. Her hand trembled, not from cold this time, but from a decision she never wanted to make. There was one contact she avoided unless it was serious. Aiden, brother. She had not called him in months. He lived far, working in a place she barely understood. She never wanted to disturb him, never wanted him to see her struggling. But her son's tears, the officer's insults, everything was too heavy. She whispered to herself, voice breaking. Maybe I should call him." Eli sniffed, wiping his nose, looking up at her. "Mom, who is Aiden?" Maya smiled sadly. "Someone who loves us very much." She pressed the call button. Ring, ring. Her heart beat faster. If he didn't answer, she didn't know what to do. After a long pause, a deep calm voice finally came through. "Maya, why are you calling so late?" Her voice cracked like thin glass. "Aiden. I need help. Silence. Heavy. Powerful. Eli hugged her leg, scared but hopeful. The officers still laughed, unaware of what was coming. Tell me everything, Aiden said. Maya looked at the officers, her clothes soaked, her dignity bruised, but her voice steady now. They won't let us go. They think I don't belong here. Aiden inhaled slowly, his tone changed, colder, dangerous. Share your location. I'm on my way. Maya ended the call. She wasn't alone anymore. Something big was coming. Sarah sat quietly on the small bench outside the station, holding her crying son close. Her eyes were red, and her hands trembled, yet she kept saying softly, "It's okay, baby. Mama is here." But nothing felt okay. Inside the room, the officers laughed, ate donuts, watched their phones, and looked at her like she was nothing. No one cared about her story, her struggle, or how scared she was for her son. A senior officer, Officer Miller, walked out with a smug smile. "Single mothers like you always create drama," he said coldly. "Maybe if you worked harder in life, you wouldn't be here." Sarah's breath broke for a moment. His words were sharp, unfair, painful. But she didn't argue. She simply lowered her eyes. Miller smirked, thinking he had won. Just then, her phone vibrated inside her purse, a call from Oriv, her younger brother. She hesitated for a second. She didn't want to worry him. He lived far away, working in secret missions, and she rarely contacted him. But right now, she had no one else. Her hands shook as she answered. "Hello. Sarah. Why is your voice shaking?" Hearing his voice made her want to cry again. She tried to speak, but her voice cracked. "Oriv, they're not helping me. They are treating me like a criminal. My son is scared, please. I don't know what to do." There was a long silence on the other end, a heavy silence. Then Oriv spoke, voice low, calm but full of steel. "Where are you exactly?" "The police station on Oak Street," she whispered. Another silence. "Listen carefully, Sarah. Don't cry. I'm coming." But the call ended. She stared at her phone, confused, nervous, hopeful. Inside the station, Officer Miller noticed her call and laughed. "Calling someone for help? Do you think anyone will come for you?" he mocked. Another officer joined. Maybe she called her boyfriend who rides a motorbike. They laughed louder. Sarah hugged her son, trying not to break. But deep down, something felt different this time. Not fear. Not hopelessness. Something like a spark of strength. Minutes passed slowly, like hours. Outside, dark clouds gathered. Wind blew strongly. The street became strangely quiet, as if the world knew something big was coming. Suddenly a black SUV stopped outside the station, fast, sharp, powerful. Doors opened. Boots touched the ground. People around the station looked shocked and moved away quickly. No one dared to speak. From the SUV stepped a man, tall, calm, dressed in military black. His eyes intense, his presence heavy. He didn't need to shout. His silence spoke louder. It was Oriv. Not just a loving brother, but a highly trained special forces operative, someone officers only read about in news. He walked straight inside, not stopping for anyone. Officers looked up, confused. "Who are you?" one asked. Oriv didn't reply. He only scanned the room. His eyes found Sarah and her son instantly. The moment Sarah saw him, everything inside her collapsed. She stood up, tears flowing freely this time, not from pain, but relief. "Oriv," she whispered. He walked to her and gently placed a protective hand on her shoulder. "Are you hurt?" he asked softly. "No, just scared," she said. Oriv turned slowly toward the cops. His expression changed, calm but dangerous, like a storm waiting to strike. "Which one of you insulted my sister?" The room fell silent. Miller swallowed, suddenly nervous but trying to act bold. "I did. And who are you to question us?" Oriv stepped closer. Very close. Their eyes locked. "I'm the man you should not have angered today." His voice was deep, controlled, terrifyingly calm. Other officers, sensing trouble, tried to interfere. "Sir, you can't talk like that here. This is a station." But before he finished, an officer recognized Oriv's military badge. His face turned pale. "Wait. Is this?" Another officer whispered urgently, voice trembling. "He is Oriv Malik. Delta Force Division, The one from that classified mission. Suddenly the entire station tensed. This was not a normal man. He was trained to end wars. Sarah watched with wide eyes. She had never seen her gentle brother like this, strong, fearless, unstoppable. Oriv looked at Miller again. You harassed a mother. You mocked her pain. You ignored her rights. He stepped even closer, his shadow falling over Miller. You will fix this. Now. No one in the room dared to breathe loudly. Even the arrogant Miller felt fear crawl on his neck. And that is when everything started to change. Officers who laughed earlier were now standing straight, speaking politely, avoiding eye contact. Suddenly, Sarah was not a poor single mother anymore. She was a soldier's sister. Someone respected. Someone they should have never underestimated. But the real story was not finished. Because Oriv didn't come just to scare them. He came with a purpose. A mission. And what he did next would shock everyone in the city. The air inside the station felt heavy, like a storm was about to explode. Everyone stood silent as Oriv held Sarah close, eyes never leaving Officer Miller. His calm face was far more frightening than anger. It was the look of a man trained to deal with wars, not petty bullies in uniform. Sarah's son held Oriv's hand tightly, feeling safe for the first time that night. Miller tried to act brave. So what? She caused trouble. We were just doing our job. Oriv raised one eyebrow, slow, dangerous. Your job is to protect civilians, not humiliate them. His voice was low, but every officer felt it like thunder. One junior officer, the only one who seemed kind, stepped forward hesitantly. Sir, maybe we should review the report again. The boy was only asking for medicine for his mother. We could have helped instead of. Miller shot him a glare. Stay out of this, rookie. But it was too late. Oriv heard everything. He turned to Sarah gently. Tell me exactly what happened. Sarah swallowed hard, her voice shaky. I just needed medicine for my son. We had no money. The storekeeper thought I was trying to steal. He called the police. They brought me here and treated me like a criminal. A tear rolled down her cheek. I begged them to let me go. My son has asthma attacks at night. He needs inhaler. But they laughed. They made me wait for hours. Her voice broke. The room went silent. Oriv closed his eyes for a moment, as if controlling a volcano inside him. When he opened them again, his gaze was sharp, cold, lethal. He walked past Miller and entered the main office. Miller quickly followed. Hey! You can't walk around like you own the place. Oriv didn't stop. He took the complaint file from the desk, the one written against Sarah. He skimmed through it, then threw it back on the table. This report is fake, he said. You added things she never said. Miller's face changed. He was caught. Oriv continued, voice steady. You arrested a mother without proper reason. You refused medical concern for a child. You misused your power. Officers around them exchanged worried looks. They knew he was right, and they also knew Oriv wasn't a normal civilian who could be ignored. Sarah watched from behind, heart beating fast. She had never imagined her simple brother could stand against the whole station like this. Pride filled her eyes. Oriv took out his phone. Who are you calling? Miller asked nervously. Oriv didn't answer. He made a short call. This is Captain Oriv Malik. Connect me to the district commissioner. Immediate. Everyone froze. Within seconds, the call was transferred. Oriv reported everything, the harassment, the false charges, the neglect of a sick child. He ended the call with only one sentence. I expect action tonight. Miller's face turned pale now. He tried to speak, his voice shaking. Let's talk. Maybe we can solve this without trouble. Oriv looked at him, unimpressed. What you should do now is apologize. Miller clenched his jaw. Pride held him back. He stared at Sarah, but she no longer looked weak. She stood straight, even though her hands trembled slightly. Silence stretched. Her son coughed again, loud and painful. His small chest struggled for air. Sarah panicked. Oriv, his inhaler. Oriv immediately bent down, comforting the boy. Hold on, champ. We will fix this. He turned to the officers. Open the drug storage room. Now. The junior officer hurried to unlock it, bringing out the inhaler Sarah needed. Oriv tested it, then gave the first dose to the child slowly. The boy's breathing calmed, step by step. Sarah covered her mouth, tears falling, this time from relief. She hugged Oriv tightly. Thank you, thank you. Oriv whispered. No one will hurt you again. I promise. At that moment, the district commissioner arrived, along with media reporters, because Oriv had informed them too. Cameras flashed. Officers stood stiff with fear. The commissioner questioned the cops, and witnesses spoke. Even the storekeeper admitted he overreacted. Reporters pointed cameras at Sarah. How do you feel? Did the police mistreat you? Sarah never liked attention, but today she spoke with strength. I was insulted because I am poor and a single mother. But my brother stood for me. Not everyone has someone like him. Her voice cracked. A reporter asked Oriv. Sir, why come personally? Oriv looked at Sarah lovingly. Because she is my sister. And no woman, especially a mother, should ever be humiliated by those who are supposed to protect her. People around them felt the emotion. Some had tears. But this was not the end. Because when the commissioner asked Miller to apologize publicly, Miller refused. He clenched his fists, anger burning inside him. And that small act of ego would open a new door, one darker and more dangerous than anyone expected. Oriv saw the challenge in his eyes. And he smiled slightly. The real fight had just begun. The commissioner's voice echoed in the station. Officer Miller, apologize to this woman. Publicly. Cameras were pointed at him. Reporters waited. Other officers stood silent, eyes shifting nervously. But Miller's jaw tightened. His pride was bigger than his uniform. I will not apologize, he snapped. She caused trouble. Not me. Gasps filled the room. Oriv stepped closer, slow and steady. His tone was calm, which made it even scarier. Apologize. End this with respect. Don't make it worse. But Miller shoved Oriv's hand away. I don't care who you are. You walk in here and act like you own the place. You think one phone call gives you power. Oriv's eyes narrowed, not with anger, but disappointment. You had a chance to act with honor. You refused. The commissioner sighed painfully. Officer Miller, hand over your badge. You are suspended for misconduct. The camera captured the moment. Miller ripped the badge off his uniform, his face red with rage. This isn't over, he hissed before storming out of the building. Everyone exhaled, as if holding breath for too long. Sarah watched him leave, worried. Will he come after us? Oriv placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. I'm here. He cannot touch you. She nodded, trusting her brother, but fate wasn't done yet. Later that night, Sarah and Aaron returned home with Oriv. Their small apartment looked humble, but warm. A single bulb lit the room, a thin curtain moved with cold wind, and on the table were unfinished toys Aaron loved to assemble. Aaron sat with his inhaler, breathing better now. Sarah cooked simple soup for dinner. Oriv helped her set plates, something he hardly got time to do because of his military life. For a moment, it felt peaceful. Brother, Sarah said softly, why did you leave home years ago? You never told me. Oriv's hand paused. He looked at the spoon like it held memories he wanted to hide. Sometimes, protecting the country means letting go of family, he whispered. Sarah lowered her eyes. She always wondered why he never returned all those years, but she never asked, until today. Before he could say more, a loud bang hit their door. 3 knocks, heavy, angry. Sarah froze. Aaron hid behind the chair. Oriv stood up calmly, but alert. Stay behind me. He opened the door. Miller stood there. But not alone. 2 men with him, rough-looking, no uniforms. Their eyes cold, like people used to street fights. So this is the hero brother, huh? Miller smirked. You embarrassed me in front of the whole city. Now I will return the favor. Sarah felt her heartbeat climb. Please, leave us alone. We don't want trouble. Too late for that, Miller replied. Oriv stepped outside, shutting the door behind him to protect them. You want revenge? Oriv asked. Take it from me, not my family. Miller laughed. Family is exactly where it hurts the most. He suddenly pushed Oriv, but Oriv didn't move an inch. His training made him unshakable. One thug tried to punch him, Oriv blocked it with lightning speed. Within seconds, he twisted the attacker's arm and pushed him aside. The other man rushed forward, but Oriv kicked his leg, making him fall. Both thugs groaned on the ground. Miller's eyes widened. "What are you?" Oriv stepped closer slowly. "I already told you. Captain of Delta Force." Miller backed away, fear finally reaching him. Just then, neighbors gathered, phones recording. Someone said loudly, "He saved his sister today. Don't let this officer hurt them." Miller felt trapped. Cameras again. Witnesses again. He looked at Oriv like a cornered animal. "This isn't the end." He whispered and ran away into the darkness. Oriv breathed heavily, but calm. He entered the house again. Sarah rushed to him, eyes full of fear. "Are you hurt?" "No," he smiled softly. "Everything is fine now." But she wasn't convinced. "He will come back." "I know." Oriv nodded slowly. "Maybe. But this time, we won't wait. Tomorrow, we will go to court. We will fight legally. Your rights matter." Sarah felt hope, a new feeling she hadn't tasted in years. Aaron hugged Oriv tightly. "Uncle, will you stay with us?" Oriv lifted him in his arms. "I will not leave you again." Next morning, court was scheduled, media was already interested, protesters stood against injustice, and Sarah became a symbol of every struggling single mother. She stood outside the courthouse, nervous yet strong. Oriv beside her like a shield. Reporters asked questions. People showed support. A woman said, "You're brave." A man added, "You gave voice to thousands." Sarah smiled shyly. She never wanted fame, she only wanted dignity. Inside the court, Miller arrived with lawyers. His face had anger mixed with shame. But when the judge demanded evidence, videos from the station appeared. Everything was clear: the humiliation, the arrest, Oriv's calm warning, Miller's refusal to apologize, all recorded. The judge's voice was firm. Officer Miller is guilty of abuse of power. He must apologize publicly and compensate the victim. The courtroom applauded. Miller clenched his fists, rage shaking through him. But he had no choice. Tears of humiliation gathered in his eyes as he turned to Sarah. "I'm sorry." Sarah inhaled deeply, not with victory, but relief. She whispered, "I forgive you." Even Oriv was surprised. Why forgive the man who hurt her? Sarah answered quietly, "Because hate makes wounds deeper. Forgiveness heals." Everyone fell silent, moved. Oriv looked at her with respect. His sister was stronger than he ever realized. But just when everything seemed over, Sarah fainted. Her body collapsed suddenly, pale, weak, breathless. People screamed. Oriv ran forward, catching her before she hit the ground. "Sarah! Sarah, wake up!" Her breathing was shallow. Something was wrong, very wrong. And the truth behind her fainting would shake their world next. Sarah lay in Oriv's arms, pale and trembling. The courtroom was now a blur of people, reporters, officers, and strangers staring, shocked by what had just happened. Eli cried softly, holding his mother's hand. Oriv's eyes were sharp and alert. He carried her gently out of the courthouse, ignoring the stunned crowd. "Stay with me, Mama. Please," Eli whispered, tears falling down his cheeks. Oriv's hands were steady, strong, comforting. "She'll be fine, Eli. I promise," he said, voice calm but filled with emotion. They rushed to the hospital. Doctors quickly checked Sarah. A simple fainting spell due to stress, exhaustion, and dehydration, but it could have been serious if no one was there. Oriv stayed by her side, holding her hand and whispering softly, making sure she felt safe. Hours passed slowly. The storm outside had calmed, but inside Sarah's heart was still racing. She opened her eyes, seeing her son sleeping beside her bed and Oriv sitting quietly in the chair, his face soft for the first time. I'm okay now," she whispered. "You've been through a lot," Oriv said, his voice gentle. "But you're stronger than you think." Sarah nodded, finally letting her tears fall freely. For the first time in months, maybe years, she felt truly safe. Oriv smiled, ruffling Eli's hair. A new beginning. The next morning, the news of what happened spread quickly. Sarah's story was shared online, with people praising her courage and Oriv's bravery. Donations, messages of support, and offers of help poured in. She could hardly believe it, Strangers from all over the city wanted to help her and Eli. But Sarah did not want charity. She wanted dignity. With Oriv's guidance, she started a small program for single mothers who struggled, teaching them how to stand up for themselves, how to fight for their rights, and most importantly, how to believe in themselves. Eli smiled brighter each day. No longer scared, he played freely, went to school without worry, and hugged his mother tightly every morning. Forgiveness and strength. Oriv reminded Sarah of one important lesson. Hate only hurts you more, he said. Forgiving Miller doesn't mean what he did was okay. It means you don't let him control your life anymore. Sarah understood. She walked to the courthouse once more, this time to witness Miller apologize publicly. The man's face was red with shame, hands shaking as he spoke. "I am sorry," he said. "I will never forget the harm I caused. I apologize to you and your son." Sarah simply nodded. She didn't need more. Her strength spoke louder than any words. Family united. After weeks of recovery, Sarah, Eli, and Oriv spent peaceful evenings together. They laughed, cooked meals, and shared stories. Oriv, who had spent years away serving his country, finally felt at home. "I miss this," he admitted one night, watching Eli sleep. "You were always there for me," Sarah said softly, hugging him. "Even when I didn't know you would be." Eli giggled. "Uncle Oriv is my hero." Oriv smiled, ruffling Eli's hair. "We are a team. Always." A message for everyone. Sarah realized that one phone call, one brave choice, and one person standing up for you could change everything. She wanted others to know, never let fear keep you quiet. Respect, love, and courage were more powerful than any insult or threat. Even in the darkest moments, someone might be watching over you. Sometimes, it's family. Sometimes, it's yourself finding strength you never knew you had. Sarah looked at Oriv and Eli, her heart full. "I was afraid, but I am not anymore. We survived. We are stronger. And we will continue to fight for what is right." Oriv nodded. "And I'll always be here. No matter what." Eli hugged both of them tightly. The storm outside had passed, but the light inside their hearts was brighter than ever.